When your cat needs you, do you actually know what they're trying to say? Yes, it's adorable. But behind that simple action, there's something deeper that most people miss. It's one of the most emotionally loaded things your cat can do. And if you respond wrong, which most owners do, you might push them away and miss what they're trying to tell you. Let's start with what kneading really means. 1. The comfort myth. Have you ever noticed your cat rhythmically pushing their paws into your stomach or legs? Most people think it's just about softening a sleeping spot. They call it making biscuits and laugh it off as a quirky habit. Here's what's actually happening. Your cat is not just trying to get physically comfortable. They are entering a profound psychological regression. Science reveals that only about 1 in 10 adult cats will physically need their owners to mark their ultimate safe space. If your cat does this to you, they're instantly transporting their brain back to the safest moment of their entire life. They are reverting to a time when they were completely protected. And by the way, if your cat ever completely closes their eyes and drools slightly while kneading you, don't brush it off. We'll get to what that really means at the end, and it's something most owners wish they'd understood sooner. Think about that for a second. Out of all the places in your home, they choose your lap to let down every single wall they have. This reveals that they don't just see you as a food provider. They see you as their ultimate safe space. Let's look at what is physically happening in their brain when they do this. 2. The chemical bond. You might wonder why they look so zoned out when they push their paws into you. Most owners assume the cat is just sleepy or tired from a day. Here's what's actually happening beneath the surface. Kneading is a biological trigger. A 2019 study on feline behavioral science found that the physical act of kneading releases a massive flood of endorphins and oxytocin in a cat's brain. Researchers who study feline behavior call this a self-soothing mechanism. But when they do it on you, it becomes a biological bonding mechanism. When your cat pushes their paws into you, they're actively changing their own body chemistry. They're using your physical presence to trigger the exact same love hormone that human mothers experience when holding a newborn. Think about that for a second. They aren't just feeling relaxed. Your specific presence is causing a biological reaction that makes them feel absolute peace. This means your cat is quite literally addicted to the feeling of being close to you. It is a chemical bond that cannot be faked or forced. And here's where it gets even more powerful. 3. The invisible claim. Sometimes those little claws come out and it gently pricks your skin. Most owners gently push the cat away when this happens, thinking the cat is being careless or aggressive. Here's what's actually happening. Your cat's paws contain highly active scent glands. When they repeatedly press their paws into your skin or your clothes, they're not just stretching their toes. They're depositing their unique pheromones directly onto you. In the feline world, scent is everything. It is how they organize their entire reality and establish boundaries. By pressing those scent glands into you, they are actively claiming you. They are putting an invisible mark on you that tells every other animal in the world that you belong to them. They are making you family. Think about that for a second. What makes this even more meaningful is that this scent marking is reserved only for their core territory. They don't do this to guests. They do this to the center of their universe to ensure you always smell like home. And hey, if this makes sense to you, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more cat lovers who actually want to understand what their cat is really saying. 4. The maternal anchor. You have to understand where this behavior comes from. Many people know that kittens need their mothers to stimulate milk flow. They assume it is just a leftover habit that the cat simply forgot to outgrow. Here's what's actually happening. While the physical motion originates in kittenhood, an adult cat needing you is a deep evolutionary complement. Wild ancestors of domestic cats outgrow this behavior completely the moment they are weaned. But domestic cats have adapted this ancient, primal survival instinct specifically for their human companions. When your cat needs you, they're projecting their deepest maternal associations onto you. They are telling you that you provide the same absolute security and life-sustaining comfort that their mother did when they were blind, deaf, and entirely helpless. Think about that for a second. They're taking the most vulnerable feeling they have ever known and placing it entirely in your hands. This reveals that in their mind, you're not a pet owner. You are their guardian. This is where most owners get it wrong. 5. The selective trust. You might have friends who say their cats never do this. It is common to assume that some cats are just affectionate and others simply aren't. Here's what most people don't realize. Cats are incredibly selective about where and who they need. As we mentioned earlier, science reveals that only 1 in 10 adult cats will need their human's body. They might need a soft blanket, but needing a person requires a completely different level of psychological safety. They don't do this with strangers. They don't do this with people who move too fast or speak too loudly in your home. They only do this with someone who has proven over months or years that they are completely predictable and safe. Think about that for a second. If your cat does this to you, it is not a random behavioral quirk. It is an earned privilege. It means you have successfully communicated to a highly cautious predator that they never have to be on guard when you are around. 6. The trance of vulnerability. Remember earlier when I said you shouldn't brush it off if your cat closes their eyes and drools while kneading? This is what I was talking about. Many owners find the drooling gross or think the cat is just half asleep. Here's what is actually happening. When a cat closes their eyes completely, drops their head, and kneads you to the point of drooling, they have entered a state of absolute vulnerability. In the wild, a cat closing its eyes and losing focus on its surroundings is a severe risk. Their survival instinct demands that they always stay alert. But when they're on your lap, kneading rhythmically with their eyes shut tight, they're actively turning off their survival instincts. They're going into a trance. Think about that for a second. This is what most owners never realize. Your cat is sacrificing their own natural defense mechanisms because their trust in you outweighs their instinct to survive. They know you will protect them while their guard is completely down. 7. The silent withdrawal. There's a flip side to this beautiful behavior that you need to watch out for. Sometimes a cat who always needed you will suddenly stop. Most owners just assume the cat grew out of it or changed their sleeping habits. Here's what's actually happening. A sudden cessation of this bonding behavior is often the very first sign of hidden stress or physical pain. Behavioral scientists have observed that when a cat feels ill or anxious, their trust radius shrinks. They stop engaging in vulnerable behaviors because they feel the need to physically protect themselves from their environment. Think about that for a second. If your cat used to do this and stops, or if they start kneading frantically on a blanket across the room while staring at you defensively, do not ignore it. This is a subtle warning that their environment or their body no longer feels safe. So, the next time your cat climbs onto your chest and begins that slow, rhythmic pushing, never push them away. You're holding their absolute trust in that exact moment. When your cat needs you, do you actually know what they're trying to say? They are telling you that you are their safe harbor. They're marking you as their own, chemically bonding with you, and giving you the highest honor a cautious animal can give. That's not just a comforting habit. That is your cat choosing you over their own primal instincts, regressing to their most vulnerable state because they know you will keep them safe. And that gentle, rhythmic touch, it was never small to them. And it shouldn't be small to you either.